What's good, y'all? It's Snoopy back in here with another one of these things. I know I haven't done one of these in a minute, and I feel like I say that every time I make another one of these playlist vids, but here we are. I don't know how long this gonna be, but I got a lot to say. I know I'm a little late to the party even talking about this album. Well, real late to the party, not a little bit late, like real late. And honestly, I wasn't even gonna touch on it, but there's a song on here that's on repeat. And I never put shit on repeat. Umbrella with 21 Savage and Young Nudy on this Metro Boomin project is just... That's how I'm gonna explain this song. First of all, going into this track while listening to the album straight through, I had crazy expectations. Like crazy. Just because everything 21 Savage and Nudy do together is just hard. There's no need to even discuss that. I was one of them people that was sitting back sad as fuck that I didn't get a 21 Savage feature on Nudy's last project. So I was so happy that I saw this on the feature list that I didn't even care about the first 5 songs that came before it. Like, yeah, Metro, you're a great producer and all, but this is still about the rappers. This song, I wouldn't say exceeded my expectations based off what these two have done together in the past, but to be honest, it was good enough to be my favorite track on the album. Metro definitely caught me off guard though, because at first I thought they was gonna rap over that church vocal sample in the beginning, but then all of a sudden Metro does what Metro does. He switches it to that dark, eclectic production it's really his signature, honestly. Like, this was a vintage Savage Mode template that 21 always eats on, but not so much Nudy. So I was kind of surprised that Nudy slid the way he did on here. Now, if you ask me who I thought carried and I have to give you an answer in 2 seconds or less, I would say 21. But if you give me a little bit more time to think about it, Nudy was right there. Now, the album as a whole, I thought was decent. I thought it was a good effort put forth by Metro. The flow of the project was great. And honestly, if we're talking about all around technical sequencing, overall album experience, I feel like it's one of my favorites this year in that category. The way every song effortlessly transitions into the next one, I thought was executed great. I also love that whole movie concept that went along with the rollout and the music on here. It was just an overall creative trap experience. Did it get a little dead at certain points? For me, yeah. At the beginning of this project, I thought we was in for a classic. I felt like the first like 5 songs, song after song after song, it was just flowing so perfectly too, until we got the trance with Travis Scott and Young Thug. From that point on, outside of Field of Fire, which I think is the second to last track on the album, and All the Money, which is a bonus track, it got really repetitive for me. And honestly, I feel like the features played a big part in that. Now, I get that Metro was trying to do the whole closed cast thing, meaning that there's only maybe a few slots that need to be filled in order to fulfill this script that he wrote. But how many times I gotta hear Travis Scott not add shit to these tracks? Nah, Raindrops was hard, so I'm lying. I had to double check and see for a minute. I knew it was one Travis Scott joint on here that was undeniable. But other than that, I feel like I could have did without Travis Scott on this album and I would not be hurt. Or at least have Metro force him to do something that he hasn't done before, because it just sounds recycled. Don Toliver outperforming Travis on here. The only artist I think Metro can get away with making the same song over and over and over again with is 21 Savage. And that's because I feel like they're just compatible. Like, you just can't break them up. It's just impossible. Hand in hand. Thing 1, thing 2. Me and you. You and him. Their natural styles just match together so perfectly. And I wouldn't even say an artist like Future can get away with that, because if I really dig deep into the crates, there's some Metro and Future records that I don't fuck with. I can't say the same about Metro and 21 Savage. I feel like every song they make is just it. It's him. The song is him. Overall, solid body of work. Definitely Metro's best album in my opinion. It's definitely better than that first shit he put out. Even though I like 10 Freaky Girls, Space Cadet, the shit that 21 Savage was whispering on. This album was good, but in my opinion, not great. But the most important thing about this album for me was that he was able to dedicate this to his mom after that terrible tragedy that happened. I couldn't even imagine. Next album I'm gonna put y'all on, and is also pretty fairly new, is this new Babyface Ray project, MOB. He making the claims that MOB doesn't stand for money over bitches, but instead stands for men of business. I don't know if I believe that shit, but hey. Ever since this channel started, I've been stating over and over and over again that Babyface Ray is one of my favorite rappers out right now. So I know this might seem a little biased, but hey, I don't give a fuck. This shit wavy. Have y'all ever had an artist y'all listen to where the sole purpose for you liking their music is because they remind you of you? That's why I fuck with his music so heavy. You can just feel the I don't give a fuck nonchalant energy on here.
Money if this bitch rank, bet you pray to God ain't no running from this bitch. Throw it in the bag, I ain't read the tip. You smell it in the air, taste it in my cut. Relationship kinda toxic, fell in love with drugs.
But you also get that isolated, self-aware point of view as well.
Dirty, feeling like a birdie, mixing with Berkey. Sit down while you working. Yeah, the job, this shit you doing ain't even worth it. Going neck like I got
motherfucking curfew. Babyface Ray on this album is basically preaching stay out the way, get some money, and take care of your family. Like, how can't you love that? Like, I was sitting here listening to this trying to find a reason to be broke. But like I always say about Babyface Ray's projects, you live by the wave, you die by the wave. It's great to have production and make everybody just sit back and chill. But I think that's what makes an artist like him not appeal to everybody. He's too laid back in his music sometimes, where it seems like he's trying so hard to stay in that comfort zone. Me personally, I ain't got no problem listening to a cool, fly, laid back nigga rap over some wavy beats. But you also have those people that love high energy, who love fast rap, who love anything not pertaining to being chill. Those are the people he's not gonna appeal to, because I'm gonna keep it a bean. He doesn't have an enthusiastic bone in his body. Anyways, with all that being said, I love this album. It was a great double back from what he did at the beginning of the year with his album Face. I like this a little bit more than that one because I really didn't like Face that much. I've said that plenty of times. I feel like I need to stop saying it. And even outside of the music of it all, pouring into the business side of things, I feel like as a fairly new artist, this is a good thing to do to bring it back for people that didn't realize what he did at the beginning of the year. Even though I didn't like the album, a lot of people was very receptive to it. It was a lot of high praise for that project. I feel like he brought this back to that dirty, grimy Detroit mixtape days. You know, it was less polished, it was less structured than the album he dropped earlier this year. Even though he had a radio record on here called Spend It, that really seemed like the only time that he tried to get out of his body, that the only time that he really tried to step outside of that comfort zone. Lil Durk also had a crazy feature on this joint. Like, that shit was wild. Y'all need to go check this out if y'all haven't. So Lucky Day dropped, what was it, 3 new songs for this Candy Drip Deluxe? They're all great. The end. When I hear people yell out traditional R&B, traditional this, traditional that, traditional, I feel like that traditional word gets thrown around way too much now. Because if you really think about it, what is traditional rhythm and blues? Like, what is that? I gotta say Whitney Houston. She's always #1. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. She's #1. I gotta say Mary J. Blige. I gotta say Usher. I gotta say Luther Vandross. I gotta say Lucky Day. That's traditional R&B. That, from his style of writing where he literally paints a picture through his lyrics where you can actually see shit happening, to his natural God-given voice. Let me tell y'all something. I feel like this dude is the total package when it comes to R&B. Like, just strictly R&B, traditional R&B, what our parents grew up off of. Like, this is who he is to us. That is who he is to us. I mean, it's crazy this dude is just now starting to get his flowers. Like, cause I feel like people forget Lucky Day is 30, late 30s, I think. He old as shit. He been doing music for a long time, so it's great to see him putting out this music and it's being well received by the masses, honestly. Like, the 3 records he put on here just added to a great album. But out of the 3 tracks he dropped, because this is a playlist, not an album list, I'm not about to be talking about full albums this whole time, because this fucking video would be like, I don't even know how long. I'm not good at math. Magic is my favorite for sure. The production on that track is amazing with that beautiful electric guitar in the background. Not too strong, not too subtle. Then in mid-song, it switches to this more piano-driven, heavenly cut. Like, this shit is just great. Bro, this song took me on like 5 different journeys and the beat only changed 1 time. When I listen to Lucky Day, right, it's the total opposite of what I said I feel when I listen to Babyface Ray. Because Lucky Day just seems like a nice guy. Not saying that Babyface Ray isn't a nice guy, because I don't know the nigga. I don't know none of these niggas. But he just puts that like nice guyness on a platform where it's like you have to respect it. Like, you have to respect that Lucky Day is just open and honest with you about everything. Y'all have to respect it, right? I'm not a woman, so I don't know, but I respect it because he's a role model. Y'all know those niggas that's overly nice as fuck in the public, but behind closed doors, they're just like the rest of us. Like, but they just do a better job at hiding the fuck nigga tendencies. Yeah, that's him. I got him figured out. I mean, he on this bitch singing to a girl, trying to convince her that magic exists just by saying, how did this happen? How did this relationship happen if magic doesn't exist? I'm here, aren't I? So magic has to exist. Oh, you don't believe in magic? Then how am I in your presence? See, that's the type of energy I need to see more from the brothers in our community. Role model. Make her believe that you there for a reason. She won't let you go. Trust me. Overall, great way to add to a great body of work by Lucky Day. My top albums of the year list coming out real soon, and I'm gonna give y'all a spoiler. This is on there. Now, of course, SZA released their highly anticipated album, SOS, and of course, I gotta speak on it. Now, let me start off with this. I feel like this album was a good listen. Not a great listen, but a good listen. I feel like the atmosphere around it sonically was very well executed. And honestly, I feel like this album just further proves that SZA just knows how to make feel good music. Like that's her genre. Thought it was a smooth listen through most of the album, but I feel like there was some spots on here where I thought that SZA was lacking a boatload of personality. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like there wasn't enough of her in this album. Well, I'm not gonna say in this album, but just on certain songs. Tracks like the intro SOS, where SZA basically used the same exact sample that Drake used in his intro on CLB, called Champagne Poetry, which is I think it was one of my favorite songs off that album. I can't remember. Like, I get it. I understand it. Until I Found the Lord was a great song, but that don't mean y'all niggas get to keep using it. What's been good with that lately? Like, put it in the comments what y'all think about this. Like, I feel like reusing and recycling samples isn't anything new to music. Of course not. People been doing it in every era. But I don't know, it just seems like a greater percentage of that is going on now in today's game. Is it just me? Put it in the comments. Now, me of all people should know and understand that coincidences do happen in life. I'm not trying to throw that out there, but I've heard so many of the same classic songs being sampled by various artists or a close-knit body of artists, and I feel like that needs to stop. I can tell that SZA was going for a more diverse musical palette to add to her portfolio on this project. I mean, she gave us a flat-out rock track with F2F. When I first heard that song, I hated it, but once it spent around again, I actually loved it. It comes off to me as a sort of a conservative mix of what she usually brings to the table mixed with a little bit of pop rock outline, you know what I'm saying? You also got something that's totally out of bounds of what she usually does with a song like Low, where she's harmonizing over this spacey atmospheric beat that I'm gonna be completely honest, kind of reminded me of like Missy Elliott or even like a late career Sierra. So leaving this project after listening to it a few times, that's what I love the most about it. I think she stepped outside of the box of what we're usually pertain to get. I hold that in such a high regard when it comes to artists, especially if you have a sound that's already successful. I think as any artist, it's hard to break out of that if it ain't broke, don't fix it motto, especially if your shit's good already. And I think more and more people are starting to realize that I don't think that motto even pertains to music even a little bit, especially in this day and time where motherfuckers will move on to the next sound quick as fuck. Like, come on, SZA even rapped on this bitch. Was it okay? Yeah. Was it good? No. Oddly enough, I left this album realizing that I like to hear SZA harmonize her way through verses instead of giving us a 12 to 16. The aura around her voice is just so angelic and addictive by itself. Just listen to the song Special. Listen to it. There's nothing going on, but her voice is carrying it. This might be a weird comparison to some people, but I relate her to Young Thug and where their voices make the song on a lot of occasions. Her voice is the instrument to create a successful record. She's that type of artist where if you plug her into the right spot at any given moment, you can catch a hit like that. And because her voice is just so good. It creates a world of its own on a lot of these tracks, so much so that I don't even care about what she's saying most of the time. Well, on the first listen I didn't, but the second one I had to hear because she was coming for the niggas a little too much. I had to see what was up. I also found myself kind of falling back from what she was saying when I realized that a lot of the subject matter is kind of similar to what was on Control. Fuck him. He ain't shit. I'm leaving. I'm back now. Typical harmful, toxic relationship shit. A lot of the shit that we got on her last project. I wouldn't say I'm mad at the subject matter because a nigga like me that's in that mode right now can't be mad because that's my life. I'm literally living the life that she's living. But just from the nigga point of view, I don't know why I was expecting a love story or some shit on here, but that's my bad. I'm sorry, SZA. I had you fucked up. Track with Don Toliver was cool. It's not downloaded though. Travis Scott did nothing for me on that song. Again, this nigga been dogging features all year. Then he get to the fourth quarter and don't want to pull up from 3. The way I'm speaking about this project right now, it may seem like I don't like the album, but I really like this shit. I like the record, but remember what I said. I better have at least 17 of them with this shit next to it, or it's a dub. I don't know how close I want to actually stand by that statement, but the album could have been better. To kind of sum it up for y'all, the songwriting on here wasn't my favorite, but the vibe, it was healthy. My favorite tracks are Blind, Snooze, Gone Girl, Ghost in the Machine, Far. Oh my God, that's such a good cry. Oh my God. I can't even talk. That's how good the record was. And I Hate You. I can't just pick one. That's how you know it's not a dub. The last track, or pretty much project I want to put y'all on today, is from Ice Sweat Vezo and DJ Drama. They ended up dropping the tape. This nigga DJ Drama starting to maneuver like DJ Khaled. It's like he just won't go away. The only difference between those two is that DJ Drama is welcomed and DJ Khaled is always forced to leave. This tape is... I really fell in love with Detroit these past few years because we're at a point now where It seems like every artist that comes out of that region, it's just hard not to like them. I'm sorry, it's just hard. And Icewear Vezo is one of those artists for me. Like, his flow is so distinct and fresh. Like, he doesn't sound like anybody else. This is a project where the beats and rapping are like a fateful marriage. There's no cheating and we're both honest with each other at all times. It's hard to even imagine this dude Icewear rapping over anything that isn't ground me because it works so well for him. Like, he not sliding, he's stomping on these bitches. And to be honest with you, DJ Drama wasn't annoying. I actually like what he brought to this album. He brought me back to the mixtape days with him and Wayne, him and Jeezy. He gave Icewear a complete DJ Drama mixtape package encoded in this project right here, with a little bit more yellow than usual, maybe because he feels like Icewear needs that cosign, maybe a little bit more than the Tyler the Creator, or even what he did with the Dreamville project this year. The song featuring Jeezy on here is hard. That one I recommend for sure. I fuck with the one featuring Kodak too. That shit was hard. But the joint I really need y'all to listen to is this song called No Talking, featuring PZ and GT. Bro, this shit is like crack and I can't get off it.
Rolling Stones and that brand new crazy out the box. They was talking crazy, you went heavy on the chops. Don't book me for a show if I can't come in with the Glock. I got money stashed away, that's all, that shit might rock.
It's 100, I ain't really doing no talking. 6 cars, nigga, for all the days I was walking. Went to the club, back to back, cruise, back to back. Came out the club, let's go right for it. I just think you fucking with us good night. The pints came for a cheaper price, and we took that. Yeah, Richie, I mean dancing, it's a 1-in-1. Drop a bag on niggas thirsty, I can't call it up. He ain't pay that tax, I can cut them niggas water off. Yeah.
Between that song and the SZA album, I promise y'all I haven't listened to anything else. Like, it's impossible. But yeah, man, that's all I got for the playlist today. Back on the grind. Niggas ain't stopping at all. Let me know what's been on y'all playlist for the week down in the comments. I'm gonna be right there with y'all as always. Appreciate y'all for watching for real. I really appreciate that. Definitely some more commentary coming on the channel soon, so stay tuned for that. I think that's all I got. Appreciate y'all for watching again. Thank y'all. Like, subscribe if you want to. We gone. See y'all in the next video. We gone for real.